Welcome out, guys. My name's Rob Bramblett.
Jim McLaughlin.
Sitting here, very honored to be in this situation. This is year 7. We're sitting here at Jim McLaughlin's house for the 7th annual Freedom Fest in 2016. The first year Jim started this was year 2010, and I believe there was 10 bands, Jim. How did you come up with the idea for Freedom Fest?
Well, I finally got divorced, and I talked to a bunch of friends of mine. I said, I'd like to have a little potluck and have like a little festival. And
if you guys don't, I'm sorry to interject, but if you guys don't know what Freedom Fest is, Jim puts this on his own property on EB Island. It's free, donations, it's a potluck, be kind to everybody, come and have a lot of fun, family friendly, kid friendly, dog friendly, tent friendly, spend the night, have a barbecue, bring a potluck. So anyway, that is what freedom.
Don't be drunk and stupid.
Don't be drunk and stupid.
Not a get drunk, be stupid party.
But now that they know what Freedom Fest started as, how.
Well, so anyway, I had 10 bands. And,
10 bands.
And I wanted to give some local bands, some friends of mine, an opportunity to play a festival situation where they don't get to play. So I decided to have a little festival and have bands. And so it went so good, they said, well, let's do it next year. I said, okay, so next year we did one day 12 bands and did the same thing concept, and then they said, well, let's do it next year. And I said, okay, next year.
Well, let's
Let me finish this. So the next year it ended up being 2 days and 26 bands. And somebody said, well, you have to do 3 days next year. And I went, no frickin' way. And the next year was 4 days and 44 bands. It's been 4 days ever since.
And I was going to back up just a minute before you fast forwarded to year 7.
I just wanted to finish it.
But after the first year, he knows everybody in the planet, and I was lucky enough to meet him 7 years ago with the Unbound Blues Jam with Paul and Willow and Dave at Madison Pub. My buddy Kevin here started Blues TV up shortly after that, so we're doing this interview. So everything kind of intertwines here. And like he said, a lot of people enjoyed the 10 bands. Was it 1 or 2 days?
1 day, first 2 years, 1 day, two days a set. Third year and 4 days ever since. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 4 days.
Because I remember there was Dennis Hacker's tent, Kevin's tent, my tent, 2 or 3 RVs, a guy with a spotlight and you had a lot of help. Who helped you with the first stage, and how did that all come together?
The first stage was a building that floated in on a flood, literally floated in on a flood, and so the front was open. It was a shed, and so we built a stage on it, and it lasted the first 3 years.
Was it kind of leaning a little bit?
The first 3 years, and it was going like this, and then the third year it was like this. And so then a bunch of people passed around a petition to keep the stage, and I said, I don't care what you pass around, it's going down. And so we knocked it down, and Bruce Rhodes and a whole bunch of my friends came out and helped me get rid of all the stuff, and we knocked it down, cleaned it up, and now I bring Ready Sound out of Tacoma, and they just do great, man.
And when did you bring Ready Sound in? Last year?
From the fourth year on.
Fourth year on. Happens because Jim knows every person on the planet that's a musician, and he's the most respected guy up in the Seattle, the great Northwest area. He's introduced me to so many amazing musicians, and without him being around and doing stuff like this, music would not be what it is today.
We used to do barn parties before I did this. And then one year somebody brought a keg and they had a brawl, so I quit doing it for years. And but Bela Fleck and the Flecktones played my party one year. I mean, Bela's won more histories than anybody in history Grammys. And they played San Michelle the night before, and the next night they're for lots of money. And the next night they're playing my place. And I said, well, look, Bela, I said I can give you $50 a piece. He goes, no, then it's a gig. We're just gonna come play. So the Flecktones came and played my party. I mean, how cool is that? And Jimmy Fadden from the Dirt Band was up last week, 2 weeks ago with us playing.
He brought in Jimmy Fadden off his tour from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and we had a blast with Kevin Sutton and Tom Jones and Rick Bowen and you. It was amazing. You never know who he's going to bring in to Freedom Fest. You never know who he's going to bring into any bar he stops into. It could be any musician from national level to local musician to unheard of guy that all of a sudden blows you away. And Jim, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart with all of my friends.
Thank you.
And everybody. I've had the honor to know you for 7 years since we started doing the jam at Madison. But I've only known you a short time, and you've known all these other guys 30 and 40 years. I'm hearing stories about.
So we're at the Madison, and Jimmy Fadden's with me, right? And Jimmy's there, and he said, you know, first of all, he goes, I can't believe all these people came to see me. He goes, I wouldn't come see me. and I told him, well, you know, you're an icon. You've been playing in the Dirt Band 50 years. I mean, because of the way he plays, I used to copy him and stuff. And a lot of the sweetness of my playing comes from him. And, you know, I mean, I do a lot of other different things now, though, you know, but that's the basis of my playing, the roots of my playing. And anyway, I can't remember, I'm so brain dead, I can't think what I was going to say. But anyway, he was at the, I remember now, he was at the table and people were coming up to him and said, oh, I've known Jim for 10 years, 20 years, blah, blah. And he said, oh, that's really nice, and oh, that's cool, and blah, blah. And he comes up to me later, he goes, man, I've known you longer than any of these people.
He told me the same thing.
You know, and it was really, you know, it's really cool. I'm just blessed with a wealth of good friends.
And you know, that's what I was just gonna say next, was you have so many friends. Even if you're not around and I talk to somebody, your name comes up in any conversation with any blues musician or harmonica player. Your name always seems to come up. And I'm honored to know you, and you have the most amazing friends in the universe and guys that look up to you. And you've helped people learn, you've taught, and then you bring people in and you do this Freedom Fest every year. If you guys have not been to Freedom Fest,
stay away.
I hope it keeps going for another 7 years. Yeah. But poor Jim here is already losing his voice. Yeah. And what's today? Sunday, and we still have tomorrow. Yeah. We still have tomorrow.
One thing I'd like to say too is I've been blessed. Like I play the harmonica and I listen to a lot of these people who are like, you know, like Jimmy Fadden was one of my heroes and stuff, and Norton Buffalo and Howard Levy and Peter Madcap Ruth and Mike Turk and so many people. And someone asked me a while ago, do you have any harmonica heroes? And I went, no, they're all my friends. I mean, everybody that I looked up to was all friends.
We brought in Lee Oscar too.
Lee Oscar will be here today.
Yeah.
You know, I've known Lee since '78.
Yeah.
You know, and T.C. Carr out of Florida, and I've been really lucky to have, you know, I'm blessed. I'm honored to have all these people just show up.
We're honored to have you doing this. I love you, Jim. Everybody else loves you.
Kevin.
And I'm one of his newest friends. It's only known him 7 years. Imagine knowing him for 40 years.
My wife hasn't known me that long.
Well, I'm next in line. Get ready for Freedom Fest 2017, guys. God. Support him. Love him. He's amazing. He's a master at his craft and loved by everybody in this industry. So thanks for listening to this interview. And Kevin Young back there with Blues TV putting this thing together. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Blues TV.